When it comes to fat loss, so many people don't know what your diet needs to actually look like physically look like. You probably heard phrases about calorie deficits and keto and low carb and you need to eat this and that and less than this, and it can get a little bit confused. It does get confusing. So what we're going to do in this video is make sense of all of that. By the end of watching this, you're going to know exactly what to eat, you're going to know how much to eat, you're going to know exactly how to set your diet up when it comes to getting fat loss results. The way that we're going to do this, I'm going to base this off my own calorie targets because there's so many different variables and everybody who watches this video is going to have slightly different needs, slightly different preferences and slightly different targets and goals. So what I will do is in the comment section, I have a 2-week free calorie calculator. Basically, it'll give you your calories and your targets that you can use, you can download, and it'll give you your individual targets for 2 weeks. So I'll explain this using mine and then go and download that, and you can put what I'm about to teach you into your own diet with your own targets, with your own calories. Now for context, if you don't know me, I'm a fat loss coach. I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm a certified nutritionist. I'm a personal trainer. Everything we're about to do, I've basically taken not just the science and the numbers that we need, but the practical stuff that I use with my own clients and the targets and the systems that I use with them. Like Martin, for instance, Martin, I'm going to put on the screen here. He's lost 20 kilos. Everything I'm about to explain is the same way that I would go about managing his targets. The point is, this works if you apply it. So first and foremost, we're going to be talking about calorie targets, but for some of you, you might have just heard the concept of calories or heard the words calorie deficit, but you don't truly know what it actually means. Calories are your body's best form of measuring energy, right? That's all calories are. They are a unit of energy. Forget fat loss entirely for a minute. Breathing, me being able to speak and move my hands the way that I am doing, going to the gym, training, going for a run, going for a walk, digesting food, literally just existing. Your body requires energy for all of those things, and the energy that it uses, the name for all that energy is calories. Now, this doesn't surprise you, you know this, that those calories come to us in the form of food. We're going to talk about all this food in front of me in a minute. That's the form that we get calories from. But what your body is capable of doing is also storing those calories. And the reason that it stores it is essentially because one day it might not get enough, right? It might not get enough energy, and in that case, it's got backups, it's got reserves, and that reserves is your body fat. So when you have excess calories in your system, your body will store it as body fat. This isn't a bad thing, it's your body using it as energy at a future date. What our job when it comes to fat loss is to basically ensure that it burns off that stored energy. The way that we do that is the calorie deficit. So that's why people talk about calorie deficits, because a calorie deficit is simply us giving a message to your body to say, I need you to burn off that stored energy. The way of us providing that message is by ensuring that we eat less calories, remember less energy than your body actually needs. That's where the calorie calculator will come in for you, because you'll be able to put in your body weight, your age, your height, your gender, activity levels, training. You can put all that into my calculator. Again, I'll put it in the comments below and it'll give you all the numbers you need for yourself. So that's why we're going to talk about calories. Now, for me personally, my target at the moment for fat loss is 2,000 calories. And that's the number we're going to start off with, and we're going to work backwards to build my diet and my targets. Now, of those 2,000 calories, our calories are made up of macronutrients. Now, there's 3 main macronutrients. There is actually a 4th, which is alcohol, but we're not going to be covering that today, because the 3 main macronutrients that we have are carbohydrates, our protein, and our fats. For every 1 gram of these individual macronutrients, I'll refer to them as macros through the video. That's probably what you've heard before. But for each gram of these individual things, they come with a certain amount of calories. 1 gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, and fats have the highest amount of calories per gram. 1 gram of fats is 9 calories. Totaled all together across the course of the day, these 3 macronutrients will make up your total calories. Now, protein is the one that you're going to hear spoken about most, and we'll go into that in a little bit more. Essentially, protein's job is going to keep you full, it's going to help you with repairing and with building muscle, and it has a few other jobs across your body as well, keeping your hair healthy, your skin healthy, your fingernails healthy, supporting your immune system. Protein, good lad, our best mate, yeah? Carbohydrates are your body's favourite form of energy. If you're wanting to train and perform well, which you should be doing, you need to make sure you have carbohydrates within your diet. And then finally, we've got fats. Now again, yes, they might have the highest calories per gram, but that doesn't make them bad. In fact, without scaring you too much, without fats in your diet, you would die. They support your hormone function, your organs' ability to do the jobs. They help us store vitamins and minerals that your body needs. For instance, fats help us store vitamin D for future use, because if you live in the UK, we aren't getting that all year round. The point is that each of the 3 macronutrients have their place. However, of course, when we're going to be in a deficit and when we're going to reduce our total calories, we need to understand how to reduce and what do we need to reduce. Now that's where we start to work backwards. So I've already told you, using my calculator, my targets are 2,000 calories. Now, as we know, protein is the most important macronutrient when it comes to fat loss, again, because it's going to help us stay full. And it also means that when we are in this deficit and when we are burning off that stored energy, if we're consuming enough protein, means that we're going to keep hold of the muscle mass. And it's essentially saying to your body, I want to keep the muscle, I want to get rid of the fat. Protein is the key player here, and that's where we're going to start. At the moment, I'm 76 kilos. I'm going to go for 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So for me, that gives me a protein target of 152 grams, which again, 1 gram is 4 calories. So my total calories consumed from protein is going to be 608 calories of my 2,000. And this has got to be number 1. Now, before I go any further within this video, I cannot stress this part enough. The only thing truly that will dictate fat loss alone is your calorie target and your protein target. With a lot of the people I work with, that's all we have. We have the calories and we have the protein. We pay attention to the fats and we pay attention to the carbohydrates, but these two you can manipulate a little bit more. They don't have to be as specific. Whereas when you come to fat loss and your calories and your protein, you do have to be specific. So if your question is, what's the only things I need to truly focus on? That is it. Your calorie intake and your protein intake. And again, 2 grams per kilogram of body weight, about the sweet spot when it comes to protein. So now we've got our protein target, the next macronutrient we're going to go to is actually going to be your fats for the reasons I said before. They are essential for keeping your body well, for keeping you healthy, and ultimately for keeping you alive. Now, a really good number to go with for fats is 1 gram per kilo of body weight. Dead simple. So again, going back to me, 76 kilograms of body weight, 1 gram of fat per kilo, 76 grams of fats is the perfect target for me. Now we know that fats are slightly higher calories per gram. Fats are 9 calories, remember these two are only 4. So that means my total calories consumed from fats is going to be 684. So now we know from my 2,000 calories, I've got 608 allocated for protein. That's 152 grams of protein. And I've got 684 calories allocated for fats, 76 grams of fat. Full disclosure, quick pause. Just had a few technical difficulties, so I've actually had to stop filming for the last half an hour, so I'm going to try and pick up exactly where we were, but if things just seem a little bit off for a second, don't worry about it, move on, pretend that this was really smooth, all right? But I think we'd got to protein and fats. So essentially, the 2,000 calories that was my target, 608 of those calories allocated to protein and 684 calories from fats. And again, that's going off 2 grams per kilogram of body weight for protein and 1 gram per kilogram of body weight for fats. That's how we get our total. So what we then do with all the remaining calories, once we put these two together, of course, we're coming over to my mate carbs. Every single calorie that you've got left, we're going to move that over and we're going to say, right, once these are taken care of, the remaining things we're going to use for our energy, for our training, for our enjoyment as well, because who doesn't like pasta? And that's where we get our carbs target. Now for me, once these two were taken into account, I had 708 calories left over, which works out when 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. Works out I get 177 grams of carbohydrates. So my final macro split, for me to hit that 2,000 calories, if I was going to be absolutely optimal, I'd be going 152 grams of protein, I'd be going 76 grams of fats, and then I'd be going 177 grams of carbohydrates. Now again, I can't stress enough, number one, all of those numbers were in relation to my own targets. For you, if you download the calculator, like I said below, put in your own information, your age, your activity levels, your gender, and all of the things that matter, and what that's gonna do is basically give you your own targets to work towards, starting with your calories and with your protein, okay? Again, when it comes to fat loss, those are the two things that really decide the difference. If you were a little bit off with where your fats are at, a little bit off with where your carbs are at, that's fine, providing your protein and your calories is hit. What we don't want to do is start going over calories, lower on protein, higher on carbs, higher in fats, which is often something that tends to happen when it comes to fat loss. Now, why that happens, variety of reasons, food choices, organization, understanding, weekends, And that's where last week's video, which was the 8 most common reasons people aren't losing weight, that's where that video is going to do you a favor. So if you haven't seen that one, subscribe, go back, watch it, it'll help you out with that. But in the meantime, if you want to lose weight, if you want to actually achieve your goals, this is how you want to do it. You get your calorie targets, you get your protein targets, and you work your macros out from there. That's everything I think we have covered. If you have questions, please, by all means, if you just drop me a message on Instagram, if you've got questions on your own specific targets, literally just message me, I'll get back to everybody. Appreciate you for watching. Thanks again. See you next week.